I'm the teaching assistant for the photo class. I see that you did plants. Um, yeah, I'm going to scroll through here really quick. Yeah, so first off the bat, I like the different perspectives that you're doing. I like these kind of close-ups and these spines. They're kind of leading us back here. Um, yeah, I like the compositions or the composition of this photograph. What I would like to see though is maybe the color balance. It seems like a little bit off. Some different kind of color hue, like almost like a filter was used. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. It looks like a little red or yellowish. I don't know if you have access to Lightroom or anything like that. Would be a great thing to experiment with to fix some of that. This composition I really like. I like how you put the sun right behind the it's like a chain choya maybe. Um, yeah, and I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know if this is a plane or some other kind of artifact, but it's interesting anyway. Um, but yeah, I like the composition. Trying to look at some of this, it's not too bad. Maybe you could use a little bit of shadow just to kind of bring it out a little bit more. But it's backlit, and it's technically it's going to have a hard time filling this in and make it look quite right. So overall, I think it's okay. But yeah, I really like what you just kind of silhouetting this cactus here. Maybe get closer in on this. Maybe just this part of it, or just like this right here instead of this down here. This could become a little bit not as important information and not as interesting as this is. These are interesting. I don't know what's going on, what kind of camera you're using. It looks like it's just a little like pixelated or little things like that. It's not a big deal. But yeah, the composition is okay. Two berries. Uh, yeah, it's not bad. Color seems maybe it's a little bit warm. It could be just at the beginning of morning. Maybe could cool just to neutralize it just a little bit, or it could be our monitors being slightly off. But it does look a little bit warm to me. And this one, I really enjoy the colors. I enjoy. It looks like the edge of a rock here with all the stuff growing on it, the lichen growing on it. And it's something that's really beautiful around here. Um, it's just technically there's just a lot of it's not very sharp. I don't know if it's just the files are a little bit too small or maybe it's cropped or something like that. But I'd really like to see it really sharp. I mean, I like the textures and everything else. Maybe if you push getting into those textures and maybe make it only about the textures or pull back a little bit further. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but enjoy it. This is nice too. It's like a little Choya skeleton. Um, I like how it moves through the frame. You have kind of coming from the corner there into the center. It's almost like a portrait of this dead cactus. I like these in the background actually work kind of nicely well too to fill up the frame. Yeah, I like it. Overall, yeah, I like this a lot. Maybe there's maybe a little blown out here and there. It's not the subject of the photograph, so even if you have the ability to go in and just make this a tiny bit darker, just so it doesn't pull your eye into this section and away from the rest of the photo, that would be awesome. This one, I like that you have things moving this way, and there's lines moving in all these different directions, which is very nice. Um, but there's maybe a little bit too busy. There's so much going on. Things kind of get lost. Like I feel this is the subject here, but it feels like it gets a little bit lost. So kind of keep that in mind as you're photographing. Either really push the depth of field as this is the only thing in focus, or really be selective about how you're going to show your subject. Oh man, these look very interesting. I love how they just kind of droop down and looks very sad. Looks like there's been like a heavy frost, or I don't know. Maybe this is around. Yeah, hard to say what time of year it is. I don't know if it's right now or not. Um, but it looks like the color's a little bit off. Looks like it's a little bit washed out. So it just needs a little bit of help in like a Lightroom editing software or something along those lines to increase the blacks. Yeah, but it's interesting photographs that I would, maybe composition isn't too bad. I don't know, maybe if you got really close to maybe just a group of them, or maybe this group down here with like these in the background, or this here with these in the background, and maybe you already have those, and this happened to be the one that you showed. But yeah, I think it's very interesting. That's for sure. And this is too. I really like how you got really close to this one. And I mean, looking through all the photographs, you do that. You do pull back in and out a bit, and it's nice too when you look at a whole group of photographs to have that. So I commend you on that. Yeah, I love the textures of these, and the light is interesting too. I just watched some of these little blown out sections. You just want to have all this detail if possible. Yeah, just the little photo editing software would be great here and there, and touches with a few of the photographs. This is nice too. I like it with this nice shallow depth of field. Um, I would maybe even get lower though, so you don't have this in the background. So you're really just kind of almost making a portrait of a person, but a portrait of this plant, right here in the center. Yeah, it's nice though. It's nice, nicely lit. Nice. It's kind of a brighter day, but it still works okay with the rest of the photographs. And this is interesting too. It's really I enjoy the composition with this here, more in the corner, and kind of allowing you to go back and see this in the background a bit. And the spikes and the textures are very nice also. It maybe gets a little bright here and there, but it's not too bad. You did a well job. Yeah, overall, good job. I really look forward to seeing what you do in the next project. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me.